1, 2, 3. Harold and Brad. Windy City Filmmakers. Harold and Brad. Windy City Filmmakers. Harold and Brad. Da, 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 da. Three, two, one. What's going on, y'all? Brad Stevens here for another edition of the Harold and Brad Windy City Filmmakers podcast. HD, what's going on, man?
What's up, B? You can call me H.
No doubt. We have a very special guest here, somebody responsible for making Chicago the Hollywood of the Midwest. Yeah. Alex Pissios is with us. How's it going?
Hey guys, thanks for having me. I'm not that special. I'm not that special though. Don't say special.
Right. So the first question we always ask people is, what's your connection to? It's a two-parter. What's your connection to Chicago, and what kind of art do you create? I think you're an artist. What kind of art do you create?
Well, here, Chicago. I'm born and raised here. You know, grew up on the northwest side of Chicago. You know, went to Chicago public schools. Went to Northeast Illinois University in Chicago. My dad was a Chicago public school special education teacher. You know, so I'm born and bred Chicago. And, you know, when it comes to the art stuff, believe it or not, you know, it's you know, creating and producing stuff now on the west side, you know, and you know, trying to get this homegrown talent along with me to start producing stuff and doing some neat stuff, you know, and loving the city. Love the city a lot.
So let's just jump right into CineSpace. Now, when you first looked at this place, it was a steel mill, and going to talking about developing it, getting it and developing it into CineSpace.
Yeah, so I mean, so the way this even happened is really it was a gift from God. You know, I born and raised in Chicago, and I'd give you a little bit of how CineSpace happened. I was going to be a teacher. I graduated from Northeast Illinois University to be a teacher. I ended up not doing that because I had an uncle that owned a fur and leather store in Indianapolis who ends up opening a store on Michigan Avenue called Elon Furs. It was next door to Nike Town.
I remember that.
Yeah, sure. And so he tells me, he says, come on, I'm opening up this store in Chicago. I said, well, I don't know nothing about furs and leather. I said, I'm going to be a teacher. He says, well, what are they going to pay you? I said, $22,400. He said, well, I'll give you $75,000. I said, shit, I'll be there tomorrow. I said,
good stuff, no doubt.
So I go on Michigan Avenue. I start running this fur and leather store I knew nothing about. And then I got in the real estate business after 10 years.
Right.
And then with the real estate business, I was doing well for a while. And then in 07, 08, I got demolished. You know, the economy, the real estate bubble, it popped. I lost everything, got evicted from my house, it went bankrupt. It was bad times. You know, I was in a very dark place.
Wow.
And then I had another uncle who owns Cinespace in Toronto. He started that 32 years ago, Nick Mercopoulos.
Okay.
And so I see Nick at a wedding, and he goes, hey, how's the real estate? I'm like, it's going okay. He's like, going okay? Don't give me that bullshit. He goes, you got to be getting murdered there. So I said, actually, it is. It's bad. And he goes, listen, let me come to Chicago. He goes, let's go look at some buildings. And then it took about a year and a half. Then Ryerson came on the market, and we bought the one building. We turned it into The Boss was the first show ever there. It was with Kelsey Grammer. It was in 2011. Mm-hmm. And then Fox brought us a show called Playboy Club. And from there, we just bought the next building, the next building. And now, you know, we're at 47 stages. We're the largest film studio company in the world. Nobody has 47 stages.
Nice. Yeah.
And the good news on it is, you know, we're busy. You know, I mean, obviously, this year's been a rough year for just the world, you know, what's going on out there. But it's exciting. I mean, we're going to be busy. We're in a place right now that content is king. There's a demand for it. And even during all this COVID, you know, the studios like ourselves were shut down for 5-6 months. So what happened? People like ourselves are sitting around watching Netflix, Amazon, and eating up all that content. And now they got to produce some more. So I think 2021 will be good, but that's how CineSpace really started. It was an uncle who really came to help me, and that was it. I mean, it wasn't people was like, man, how did you plan this? I said, plan nothing. I said, I had an uncle that said, man, you're bust out and I got to help you out. So let's try to do something. That was it.
Family is a beautiful thing.
It can be.
You know what? I tell people karma's a thing, and you got to be good and help people. And for me, it was a blessing what happened with Nick. And I try to turn that blessing on to other people now like crazy there. We can talk a little bit about, if you want our internship program, which I started 5 years ago. Please. I mean, that thing is killing it. I mean, I sat there and I started saying, man, look at this film studio. It's growing jobs. But the problem is the jobs that are being taken don't emulate the neighborhood. And I said, we got to get more of the minorities in this neighborhood that have struggled since the Martin Luther King fires. They got to get the opportunity. So what's the best way to do it? We start the internship program. So all you need is be a high school graduate. And I did research in North Lawndale, 50% of the kids that graduate from high school don't go to college, right?
Yeah, right.
So here what we had, the perfect storm. An industry that was about to blow up, in a neighborhood that in our industry, to get into the unions, you don't need a college education.
Right.
So it worked out great. We partnered with Dick Wolf Films and NBC Comcast, and then Fox came on, Disney Fox now. And, we take the kids, our high school graduates, it's a paid internship program. So some do hair and makeup, some do construction, some do lights, some do set decorating, some do location scouting. And then after the internship program, if they're still interested, then what we do is CineSpace, we subsidize the $5,500 that they need to get into the union.
Nice.
So we'll pay for that. The thing's been great. 92% of the kids that have graduated through this internship program now are in the unions. I love to say there's a couple kids now that was in our first cohort now are buying their own 2 flats in the neighborhood.
Right.
To save that money. I told them, I said, save the money. You got insurance, you get benefits. So, that's really been the most thing I'm proud of with CineCares, is that internship program. And then the partnership we have with DePaul University. At DePaul University, which we're really, really excited about with DePaul. So DePaul opened up their film school over there,
right?
And which is exciting, and a part of their film school. And DePaul University, which was not even ranked in the top 100 film schools in the country, well, now they broke the top 20 in the country.
Nice,
And when you read the article from Hollywood Reporter, one of the main reasons it has is because the campus being at the studio, because these kids, not only it's about going to college, it's almost like you're working on the sets with people around you. They're meeting people, directors, producers, set deck people, and it's become like a college campus there. It's fun. There's more to do, and but those are kind of the 2 low-hanging fruits that I'm most proud of.
We were interviewing Carl Seaton, director, a couple months ago.
I saw the movie Do the Right Thing at the Plaza.
No doubt.
I don't know the difference between a producer and a director. I got to figure all that out. But this guy, Spike Lee, this is what I want to do.
The impact it had, of seeing somebody like you making a film, and it was like the sense that, it's not just out there in the ether, that making a film is doable, that you can actually do it. And that's what I love about the internship program, that, young people actually get a hands-on experience and work in the industry, and they realize that it's actually doable. And I think that's amazing. Yes. That's fantastic.
And you know what it is, and it's great. I mean, especially here you are in an underserved community like North Lawndale, and now you got this kind of job creator. And you're in a neighborhood, and it's jobs, especially in the union jobs. You don't need a college education, right? So you got these kids. It's almost like a farm system. They're right there. Feed them into that system. Show them the business. Educate them, and then hopefully, the shows keep coming. And then there's jobs.
You know what? It's kind of funny. Like earlier this year, I was doing like some rehab on my shoulder for physical therapy, right? And I remember one day my physical therapist said, "You hear about that basketball player? He got this really bad virus." And I said, "Well, I haven't heard a lot about it." And it was COVID. He was one of the first players to get COVID-19, right? And like it was a big thing because he had wiped his hands over the mic. And it was just amazing how it went from knowing very little about the virus to the virus being like just consuming people's lives globally. Just how quickly that happened, you know. So, and I know that a number of TV shows are opening back up. So how is it with production and navigating those waters?
Yeah,
with,
it's pretty crazy.
Pandemic?
So, I mean, I'll give it to Dick Wolf and Comcast. I mean, they came back with the Dick Wolf shows, Fire, PD Med. Obviously, I mean, the amount of, they do testing every day on the site. Right. Now to get on the lot, we check your temperature. If your temperature is too high, you're not allowed on the lot. I mean, everyone has to have their masks on. And they've been doing it. I give them credit. They've had a couple stoppages where, it probably was an actor that got it, so they had to stop filming for a little bit. Right. But for the most part, those three shows, the first show actually was Fargo with Chris Rock. They needed to, when COVID hit, they were 2 episodes short to finish the season. So they were actually the first ones to come in, and they did it. They had the testing. People were careful. I mean, you guys know how it is with food. I mean, over there, when there's food there, it's like a smorgasbord. Everyone grabs their spoon, they throw their food on the plate. Now, forget about it. Now it's a boxed lunch, and it's all it's all boxed, it's all ready, and Fargo did it. And then Dick Wolf's doing it, and that's the only ones that have shot after COVID. But the good news is for 2021, and hopefully now with the vaccine coming in, I mean, we got 2 legendary shows coming. We got the spinoff to Power called Force.
Nice. Yes. Yeah.
So they're getting ready to start coming like February, March. So I think the timing is going to be perfect with getting the vaccine out.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. How are you handling the COVID and moving around, going through CineSpace and dealing with people?
Well, me, I love to work so much. So when they shut down, it was me and my 2 brothers walking around every day around the studio saying, "What the fuck just happened? This is like crazy." I mean, you're used to seeing thousands of people walking around, and now there's nobody.
Right.
So we used the time I redid some streets, I redid some sidewalks, I did a little beautification projects to just keep me going, because I'm not one of those guys, I can't sit at home. So it was me and my 2 brothers every day. We'd have our meetings, we'd watch a little TV and make some plans on some new construction projects we're working on. And that's how I mentally kept going here, my kids, obviously, I have 4 kids. I have 2 in high school and 2 in grammar school. So trying to keep these guys busy too, because I think they're taking a brunt of it too,
no question.
You remember in high school or grammar, you love seeing your friends going out.
Right.
Now everything is, Zoom meetings, Zoom this. And I think, I need them to get going full time again, man. Shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like Zoom just came up out of nowhere,
Man, shit. I wish I owned it. I wish I started Zoom.
I'm telling you, it's a household word.
I had never heard of Zoom until the pandemic. I had never heard of Zoom.
Me neither. I didn't know that. It's like every meeting now is Zoom. I go, this is unbelievable, Right. But I got to do some research on this guy. I mean, can you imagine? This guy started this company and he probably was doing okay now.
Right. It's funny. Like, I remember back in the day, being a kid, and when John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd shot The Blues Brothers, right?
Yeah.
And then a little bit later, they did Ferris Bueller's Day Off, right?
Yeah.
So there were films coming through Chicago, but they were like kind of far and few between. Nothing like now, the production taking place.
Yes.
So what makes Chicago in the Chicagoland area, such a great place to film and shoot it?
Listen,
what makes
the studios love this city, man. They love it for one here. They love the 4 seasons, right? So you get that winter look, that spring look, that summer look. Dick Wolf's great at that. As you watch the seasons, you see snow and ice, and then you see the sun, and then you got all these beautiful locations. You got the city, you got the lake. Heck, you go 40 minutes north, it looks like you're in a country,
Right.
They love all the different looks we have in the city, and then the talent, we're one of the most talented, talk about Second City, right? Talk about all the plays and the musicals that are shot here, that are filmed here in Chicago, the live stuff we have, the stagehand stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, we have such a deep talent pool, and it's just going to grow and grow and grow. And, the film incentive is obviously the most important thing. That's why the shows come. The state of Illinois has a really good film incentive, but it's a fair one.
Yeah.
I try to explain to people here, Georgia right now is very busy, but Georgia's very busy because they have an above the line incentive. So what that means is a $100 million movie gets shot in Georgia, let's say. Well, 30% of all those dollars, no matter if it's not Georgia people that live there, if the money's not spent in the Georgia economy, they still get it. So Tom Cruise gets paid $10 million to shoot in Georgia. The state of Illinois, the state of Georgia taxpayers pay $3 million of that salary, even though he pays taxes in California. Right. In Chicago, in Illinois, what I like is we make the studios accountable. We say, hey, you want to shoot a $100 million movie in Illinois? You got to spend all that $100 million in Illinois with Illinois people, or you don't get nothing.
Nice. Yeah.
So that's why people have said, why don't you lobby more to get this above the line? I said, listen, it's better to be needy than greedy, because what happens, most states that have had that above the line, Michigan, Iowa, Louisiana, they lose it. Because what happens is someone's going to say, hey, man, we're not taking care of our own schools or our elderly people, but we're covering these people's spend. They're not even hiring our own residents.
Right.
So Illinois got the biggest driver for besides content creation is the film incentive. That is, without that, we wouldn't have anything here.
Ooh la la. Yeah.